Hey folks, how's it doing? How's it going today? It's Dan the World Traveler. I say again, Dan the World Traveler, talking to you today about Vilnius, Lithuania. And it's currently September 2025, this video. And I was in Vilnius, Lithuania in this last summer, a couple months ago, probably May or June, something like that. I don't remember the exact date, but I was had the pleasure of going to Vilnius, Lithuania. Vilnius is the capital of Lithuania. I'd say it's about an hour drive from the Belarus border, and it's about a 5 hour, 4 hour drive. Maybe these are approximations, not exact numbers. Probably about a 4 hour drive from Riga, Latvia, but it's on the I believe the southeast corner of Lithuania. It's not in the very center, I can tell you that. But Vilnius is an exciting place. I'm very happy to have went. It's a very walkable city, very fun, and lots of really cool people, lots of cool restaurants. A little pricey, like in my opinion. I mean, compared to Amsterdam, not so pricey, but you can spend a lot of money if you're not careful in Vilnius. But there's a lot of good, reasonably priced restaurants too. You can walk. It's a very, very walkable city. Very, I mean, like a lot of Europe. I mean, of course, as an American, living, being, going all over the United States of America, when I go to Europe or basically anywhere outside the United States, it's all walkable compared to where I was born and raised in the United States of America. In the United States of America, you basically, unless you live in New York City, you're pretty much you got life isn't going to be pleasant unless you have a car. But in the rest of the world, that's not the case. But in Vilnius, Lithuania is very, very walkable. You can go anywhere on a bus. A bus will get you anywhere. You don't have to have a car, is my point. And as a matter of fact, believe it or not, I've never done this before, but I walked from my hostel. I stayed in a hostel for $20 a night in downtown Vilnius, Lithuania, right near the river, right where all the cool coffee shops are. $20 a night, and I walked to the airport. I got up in the morning, I walked to the airport. It took me an hour to walk to the airport. I've never walked to the airport before. Never done that. Try that in America. I don't think so. But yeah, I was able to walk to the airport from the downtown area to the airport. It took me about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But it was a good walk, and definitely wasn't. There was no safety concerns. But again, try that in the United States. Right near the Neris River. That's the river that runs through Vilnius. Some things about Lithuania I think are pretty interesting. The Lithuanian language has quite a bit in common with Latvian, which its neighbor Latvia to the north, but they're not mutually intelligible. That's what I've been told. I don't know how true. I'm not a professional linguist, but what I've heard is a Lithuanian. When Lithuanians talk to Latvians, they pretty much have to speak English unless one of them knows the other's language. But they have a lot in common, but they're not mutually intelligible. That's what I've heard. I'm not an expert. I could be wrong. As far as languages are concerned, pretty much all the young people, from I've been told, in Lithuania speak English, and that was my experience. A lot of good English speakers. What they say, there's a saying in Lithuania: if you're under 40, you speak Lithuanian and English. If you're over 40, you speak Lithuanian and Russian, because obviously there's a history there before the 1990s. And Lithuania, again, very walkable city. Driving through Lithuania on a Flixbus. Again, I've said this before. I've traveled on Flixbus all over Europe. Really, really good company. Not disappointed at all. And I took a Flixbus from Riga, Latvia to Vilnius, Lithuania. And you can go through the Lithuanian countryside and see some really cool stuff. Just looking out the window, barns, silos, lots of livestock, horses, cows, whatnot. Very, very picturesque. Very, very beautiful place to drive through. They're on the euro, so if you ever go to Lithuania, you've got euros. You're fine. Actually, you can just use your debit card. That's what I did a lot of times. Just use my debit card, and I was fine. And there's a really cool place in Lithuania, Vilnius. I forget the name of the village. It's kind of like it's not the word I use. A lot of people say the word Bohemian. I can't pronounce it to describe this place, and it's not the name of the place. It's a description of the place. And a lot of artists live there. But it's a village, very famous. Uzupis, I think, is how you pronounce it. But I could be 100% wrong. But I think it's pronounced Uzupis. It's the name of this village, this area of Vilnius. That's kind of like they declared themselves an independent country. It's kind of more of a playful thing. I don't know how serious it is. They have their own currency that's only good 1 year out of the year during their New Year's, which is April 1st. But again, I could be 100% wrong about this. That's what I've heard. But I could be wrong. I'm certainly not an expert on this part of Vilnius that is a supposedly a self-declared country. But I could be 100% wrong about that. But interesting place for sure. Vilnius as a whole is an interesting place. What else do I want to say about Lithuania? Oh, by the way, this is true not just for Vilnius, Lithuania, but any country, pretty much any country in Europe, any country, a lot of the countries in the world, really. Before you go there, I would go on the internet, look for free walking tours. I had 2 free walking tours in Vilnius, Lithuania, when I was there, and very fun, very professional. These people really put on a show for you. They take you all around the city and tell you the history of the place. I mean, these are people in their 20s who they really know their culture. This Lithuanian guy was in his 20s. He took about 20 of us around, 20 non-Lithuanians, and walked us around in the downtown area there and said, this building has this historical significance, or this area over here, this church was built in what year, and this is whatever year that and it has this significance. But they're very professional, and yes, it's a free walking tour. You are expected. It is desired that you give tips at the end of these. Usually, it's desired that you give tips. I certainly tip. But they are technically, that's what they call them, free walking tours. Yeah, that's about it about Lithuania. It's definitely a place to visit. It's got a lot going on, and I was not disappointed. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the people of Lithuania for receiving me for 2 days. I was there for 2 days. I spent 2 days there. It's 2 days in a hostel, $20 a day in a hostel. Again, if you go to Europe, seriously, my advice, unless you've got a big family, stay in a hostel. It's $20 a night. Or okay, if you're in Amsterdam, it's actually a lot more. But in a lot of Europe, you can get away with 20, 30, $40 a night for a hostel. It's perfectly safe. I've never had a problem at a hostel. Very few problems. I've had more problems in a Motel 6 in the United States of America than I've had in hostels in Europe. So anyway, this is Dan, the World Traveler, talking to you about Vilnius, Lithuania, Lithuania in general, and hope I've made you a little more knowledgeable about the world. Have a great day. Dan, the World Traveler.